You know, I saw this thing on social media where I get all my relevant information about how people are using safe words now within their relationships when they have to approach a difficult topic. And I thought, what a great thing for a performer to also use. So our safe word is cupcake. And when I say it, it means I'm about to say something that might ruffle some feathers. And if you're a sensitive person, that's a good time to go to the bathroom. And I don't even mean sensitive in a PC culture type way, because there's part of it that I love playing with when it comes to PC culture. But like, I mean sensitive in more of a way of, I don't know what I could say that could hurt your feelings. Right? Especially as a native New Yorker, I feel like native New Yorkers should come with safe words. Because I don't think we realize when we're New Yorking in a place that's not New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a New Yorker, like, I've traveled to places. You ever travel to some place and everything closes at 9 o'clock? I was at a hotel and I got there at like 11 o'clock at night and I said, hey, what's open to eat? And they were like, everything closes at 9 o'clock. And I was like, vampires, right? That could be the only logical explanation as to why there is not one pizza joint that is open right now. And here's the thing, as a New Yorker, I travel a lot more now, and like, the more I travel, the more I'm starting to see New York a little differently, and I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, you travel outside of New York, you start to pick up on things. Like, that first day back is rough. I get back, I get off my flight, I look around, I'm like, it is kind of nasty. I don't want to feel that way about my city, man. But I go to other places and I'm like, there's no trash around your trees. Where do you guys keep your trash? In bins? That's disgusting. I don't touch my trash. And it's happening more often now because I'm traveling more, and which is so expensive, by the way. Like, if you're buying flights, it's ridiculous. I'm going to Wisconsin, $700. That's what I said, $50 at the most. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should pay me to get on that flight. Like, why? What cheese enthusiast is ruining this for the rest of us? I thought it was ridiculous. I checked every airline, because that's what you do, right? I was like, I must be hallucinating. This can't, even Spirit, I ain't got no shame. Like, all of them. If you look at Spirit Airlines, you are in a financial situation, right? That I feel like anybody can relate to, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just an airline, it defines an economic era of our lives and should be respected as such. And it's always a bad choice. Look, Spirit is always I'll hit you with the double negative. It's never not a bad choice. You know it is. You know it's a bad choice, because you see the price right there, and you still gotta talk yourself into that flight. Because I saw the price. I was like, woo! $27, that's less than I thought. I started giving myself reasons. I was like, come on now, nobody's hijacking a Spirit plane. Like, you're safe. Even if someone did, every passenger on that flight would be like, you thought you was the only one that bought a gun? Like, you really thought? It's a Spirit Airlines, sir. Nuck if you buck, Hans Gruber. It doesn't matter where I go. As soon as people find out that I'm a New Yorker, they feel compelled to tell me how they feel about New York. Right? Like, I don't ask. But they always tell me, and it's usually some cliche thing, you know, they'll be like, New Yorkers are mean. And here's the thing, we're not mean, we're aggressively kind. Right? We're very misunderstood. I always tell people, get lost in New York City, the first person that will help you is a New Yorker. Guaranteed. Guaranteed, because we can't stand lost-looking people. Like, we hate your lost-looking faces. I'm not even gonna lie to you. We see them at the, like, right at the subway map, just like, Is it uptown? Is it downtown? What's Midtown? Literally the middle. I just picture them like panicked at the map, and then like out of the darkness, they hear a voice. Where you trying to go? That is one word in New York City. Where you trying to go? No breaks. You've been looking at the map for 5 minutes. Where you trying to go? I'm trying to help you get out of my way. You've been in my way 5 minutes. Look at this map. Such a wild thing, man. And people in New York, like, here's the thing about New York City. Like, if you have a bad time in New York City, I feel like that's because you didn't know the rules before you got here. You gotta know the rules before you get here, man. Every city has rules, right? And one of the cardinal rules of New York City, mind your business. It should say that when you land in New York. Welcome to New York, mind your business. Right? That's what forget about it means. It means forget what you just saw. Because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but what happens in New York never happened. Why you snitching? Like, why would you say anything? I had to teach my husband this lesson. My husband is a white boy from the Midwest. Thank you so much. I'm a Puerto Rican girl from the South Bronx, man. Like, I know we got Puerto Ricans here. Hey. Yeah. What up, probably my cousins? I'm just saying, let's do a 23andMe later and get weird. That's the thing, I'm not gonna lie to you. As a Puerto Rican girl from the South Bronx, I didn't think I could bag a white boy from the Midwest. I thought I was too aggressive. Because I don't know how to soft flirt. You know what I mean? Like, you know how some girls can like really cute flirt? Not me. I'm New York aggressive with it. I'd be like, yo, I like you, son. You trying to do this? Hey, yo, you trying to smash? Turns out he liked it. He was like, I'm scared, I'm gonna follow her. But I'm not gonna lie to you, man, moving from the Midwest to New York, what a culture shock. I couldn't start him in the South Bronx, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't. That's not a starter borough, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's... Right? We don't start people in the Bronx, we end them. Don't shoot the messenger. Although we do, we shoot the messenger. Nobody getting messages. But we found a nice starter borough, Astoria, Queens, great starter borough, right? We moved there, man, I showed him all the artisan coffee shops. I was like, look, your people did that. We moved to this nice, quiet neighborhood, or so we thought, till one day we were driving around and a fight broke out in the middle of the street. 2 grown men started beating the crap out of each other. And my sweet Midwestern husband was like, oh no. I should do something. I was like, if you don't roll up your window right now, I'll fist fight you myself. I was like, what you gonna do, Captain America? You gonna fight 2 grown men? You have psoriatic arthritis, take a seat. I'll tell you what's about to happen. I'm about to watch you get jumped. That's what's about to happen. And I'm gonna watch, because I know how to mind my business. I already learned. This is your lesson, baby, not mine. It wasn't like that when we first got to the neighborhood. When we first got to the neighborhood, the hottest beef on the block were 2 businesses that were at war with each other. It was a health food store and a bagel shop. And the health food store started selling bagels. That's what I said. Here's the thing, they could have sold their bagels in secret. That would have been the respectable thing to do. But they put out a sign. Right, and the sign said, we sell organic bagels. So the bagel shop put out a sign. And their sign said, there's no such thing as organic bagels. I saw that, I was like, the block is hot. It's hot in these streets. My favorite thing is like, people still, no matter how crazy it is in New York, people still want to come to New York. They still want to come. People dream of coming to New York. They always tell me it's my dream of going to New York City. And we know why. New Yorkers, we know why. You want something crazy to happen. You want to see something wild. You want your weird New York story. I always tell them, come. It'll happen. We aim to please. The homeless will always provide. I'm sorry, the unhoused. Cupcake? Cupcake? I don't know. I realized that that's our PC term now, is unhoused. And look, I was an English major in college. I'm down to play with language. Let's do this. But we can talk about unhoused, can't we? It's goofy. I'll tell you why. Number one, that's the same word. You can't convince me otherwise. I have a thesaurus. You ain't gonna lie to me. And 2, it sounds worse. Right? Homelessness sounds like a situation that could not have been prevented. Unhoused sounds like somebody just rolled up on them and was like, I'll be taking this. And no more house for you. The second I heard it, I was like, what an elitist, privileged way of describing a situation, right? Right, you can hear it right away. Did you hear about Janice? She was recently unhoused. That's the kind of word that is only used to make the speaker of said word feel better about acknowledging a situation they know nothing about. It just makes them uncomfortable to acknowledge it, so they created a word as a buffer, but there's no progress in that word. There is no help in that word. And if you've ever lived in that situation, then there are a bunch of words you would have used instead of that word. Like, I was shocked. I was like, nobody thought of nomad? That's my first choice. Can you imagine you roll up on a homeless person? What up, my nomadic brother? Way to stay off the grid, man. I, too, am anti-establishment. Some of the words, honestly, some of the changes, I'm okay with. You know what I mean? Some of the changes I think are pretty brilliant. I know a lot of people are upset with all the PC language, but I find it kind of entertaining. Like, did you know on social media now, they're calling smoking weed gardening? I love it. Oh, it makes me sound so much more productive. I've been gardening all day. Gardening helps me deal with people. You know, it doesn't matter how crazy New York gets, it's still a vibe. It's still a city that has its energy. Man, when you think about it, even when COVID hit, we were the epicenter. Even COVID came through like, New York is lit. COVID was like, if I can make it here, I can make it anywhere. Lived its best life. I remember when they released us, from COVID captivity. We got rid of that 6 feet of personal space day one. Day one, it was gone, man. We couldn't wait. I know, because I got on the subway, and within 2 seconds, I had a guy this close. Right in my face like that. I was like, sir, we're the only 2 people on this train. I feel like there's a lot of options you're not taking. But where you trying to go? I thought he was lost for like a second. Maybe he thought I was the map. COVID was like a universal trauma that we all shared. What a crazy time. Everybody's life changed. Things changed for people. I became a mom during the pandemic. I had a baby, which is wild. Thank you, most of you. You know what? I realize I get a different response depending on like lifestyle-wise and generationally, like who's in the crowd. Like if it's older people or people with kids, they'll be like, woohoo, you made a person. But like young single people, y'all be like, I see all your trauma come up to the surface. I'm like, I said I'm a mom, not your mom. I didn't do it. But I get it, because we're having different conversations now, right, about parenting. Right, we're getting into it, man. Parenting conversations are changing, and they should. We have some archaic views on parenting that I really think need changing. Like the belief that it makes or breaks you as a woman to have a baby. No, it doesn't. If you want to have a baby, have a baby. You don't want to have a baby, don't have a baby. It's nobody's business. It's ridiculous to think it's anybody's business but your own. But I will tell you this, anytime I've met a woman that doesn't want kids, that is the first thing she wants me to know about her. The second she finds out I'm a mom, she's like, I don't want kids. Cool, I wasn't offering. I was talking about my favorite subject, which is me, and then you interrupted me with some you, which I did not request for this. But I respect it. I respect it when a woman knows she doesn't want to have kids. I do. I think it's a good thing to know about yourself, and I think a lot of people would have been spared bad relationships with their mothers had they known they didn't know what they were doing or feel like they wanted to do it even in the first place. And I wish more people were that aware, right? Sometimes it's a bummer, I'm not gonna lie. Like I'll meet a person who's a really good human being and they don't wanna have kids, and I'm like, damn, I really wish you did, because I wish there were more people like you know what I mean? And then sometimes people are like, I don't wanna have kids, and I'm like, that's probably the best for everybody. I don't think you should have houseplants. Like, I don't know if you know how to love, bro. We're having these different conversations that I feel like are so important because we're talking about things that definitely people that grew up in certain generations never heard of, right? Like we're talking about toxic parenting, right? We never heard that growing up. And let me tell you something, like I said, I'm Puerto Rican. I guarantee you nobody's cornered the market on toxic parenting like Latino parents. Woo! Man, oh, look at us trauma bonding. It hurts so bueno, doesn't it? I'm telling you, man, we put the tra in trauma. That was us. That was all us. It was just Alma, we spiced it up. That's why we have to talk about stuff like toxic parenting, because a lot of us didn't even realize we had toxic parents until we looked over our childhoods with today's guidelines. I thought I was safe. I was like, nah, I love my parents love me. What's that? Yeah, they hit me. Every day. But only when I was doing kid stuff. Let me see that list real quick. Let me look real quick. Saw all the information they know now about raising kids, and I was like, oh no! I need so much therapy. Like, that's wild. I hope there's a punch card. trying to explain therapy to Latino parents. Look at that, look at that, look at that. That hit you right in the trauma, right there. Like, whoop. Man, I was like, I cannot sana away depression. It's not how that works. If you don't know what sana is, allow me to explain. For those that don't know, Latinos have this thing that we say when like little kids get hurt. It's a little rhyme, make them feel better, you know what I mean? Sana, colita de rana, si no sanas hoy, sanarás mañana. You're all healed. One time my husband was like, can you translate that? And I was like, nah. Nah, man. Anything you translate from another language into English always loses something. Because the other languages are often so poetic, especially Spanish, such a poetic language. And if you translate it, it just loses all validity. Because translated, it's save, butt of a frog. If you don't heal today, you'll heal tomorrow. It's just passive-aggressive witchcraft. That's all it is. That's all it is. Save, butt of a frog. You have to say it in Spanish or your children will have nightmares. Like, you can't. It's such a crazy time to like be a parent because we're doing things so different, right? Like now you can choose your parenting style like you used to choose a Mortal Kombat fighter. Our parents only had one style. It was survival. That was it. They just had to make it through. But we chose conscious parenting, me and my husband, conscious parenting, which is annoying. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's annoying because it's not permissive. It's literally realizing every way in which you affect a tiny human life. And you have to be so aware of everything, and it's so hard because you want to fight them. You know you shouldn't. You know it's not their fault, but you find yourself getting frustrated at the craziest things. Because I would just be like, why can't you use a spoon? Give my son a spoon, he's like, no, you crackhead. It's just yogurt everywhere now. And the stakes just get higher and higher as you go along, what you have to teach them, what you have to be patient with, because now we're at potty training. Literally, there was one time my son made full-on eye contact with me as he pooped on my living room floor. And as a conscious parent, I was like, way to listen to your body, little man. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? He's a kid, he doesn't know any better. What, I roll up a newspaper, bang him on the head with it, push his face in it? No, bad baby! I would call the cops on myself if I did that. I'm like, you gotta come get me, I finally broke. But here's the amazing thing about conscious parenting, that they don't tell you, you learn as you do it. The more you consciously parent your kid, the more it heals all of your crap. Yeah, it really does. Because you end up parenting the way you wish you had been parented. I found this out in the moment with my son because we do affirmations every morning. I know, it's adorable. Don't get it twisted, it's Snoop Dogg affirmations. I want to thank me. No, it's a great affirmation. No, Snoop Dogg has a kid show. If you don't know, it's amazing. Yeah, right? Doggyland. If you don't know about it, watch it. He plays a character named Bow Wizzle. You're welcome. The songs all slap. You're welcome. So we were doing our Snoop Dogg affirmations, and my son has that cute little toddler voice, you know what I mean? Like that, like I was like, say, I am strong. And he's like, I am strong. Like, say, I am brave. He's like, I am brave. And then I felt it, like all the stuff I didn't get. You know what I mean? In that moment, I felt that. And like, before I knew it, I was like, say, I am loved. I gotta call your grandma. I didn't even see that coming, man. And it's so crazy now being a boy mom because the microscope is on us, man. We are underneath such a microscope, everything we do. And I'm fine with it because I think if we change the game, we could really change how things work out in the world. I really do. I don't mind it, you know what I mean? And my girlfriends were on it right away. The second they found out that I was having a little boy, they were like, it's all up to you. You gotta fight the patriarchy. And I was like, can I teach him the alphabet first? I can, I just gotta be real intentional with it, you know what I mean? Like, A is for accountability, B is for bodily autonomy, and C is for consent. Repeat it to mommy. You have to be aware of these things, you know what I mean? And I think the thing that's hard now is that there's so many opinions on parenting now, and you don't know where to go, you know what I mean? And as a parent, it can be hard to take the opinion of somebody who like doesn't have kids, for instance. I found myself getting frustrated at people that would give parenting advice that don't have kids. And I felt the way that a lot of parents do. Like, if you're not living this life, how do you know what to tell me to do? Until I realized the reason why I should listen to these people is that they may not have kids, but they are coming from a perspective of a person who experienced a certain type of parenting. And I really had to think, what would my son say about my parenting? And what would I want him to say about my parenting? Not all of it, some people are dumb. Don't listen to everyone. Because I did have a girlfriend that was like, you better raise him right. And I'm like, what did you think the plan was? What did you think? I think I got pregnant and I was like, I will raise him evil. Go forth and destroy my child. Of course I want to raise a good human being, but I also don't like being told what to do. So the second she said that, there was a part of me that wanted to be like, nope. I was gonna, but then you had said what you said. Now I gotta make sure he has a misogynistic podcast by the age of 7. Just sitting there with some big old headphones like, as a alpha male. And I'm behind him with my problematic boy mom self like, that's right, baby, these hoes ain't loyal. It's just me and you forever. I could never be that mom. Could never be that mom. There was a lot of things that I saw people doing that I knew I wasn't gonna do as a mom. Like, the one thing I don't do is boys will be boys. I don't do that with my son. It's too permissive. There's no equivalent for little girls. So I don't allow it. And you know, the parents that I've seen do it, it gets out of hand real quick. You just know it's gonna snowball to bigger things, like boys will be boys. He stabbed the babysitter. He's a boy. He's learning to express himself. And I know you're not supposed to judge other parents, but I do. I do. Only when I see them doing things that are detrimental to their children or to parenting in general. I can't help but pick up on that now. Like, there was a woman who put out a video and it went viral. And this was the whole video. She goes, I'm gonna teach my son how to cook so your daughter can't trick him into a relationship with her cooking. First of all, don't nobody want your dusty son. First of all, don't act like a basic skill is something to brag about. And second, how long you been out the dating pool, ma'am? What do you think is gonna happen? Do you think I'm just gonna leave a trail of empanadas that lead to an altar? He's gonna be like, oh no, I'm married. did you raise? There were so many things, and when, me and my husband, when we talked about how we were gonna do this, that we decided we were just not gonna do, right? And there were certain things we promised ourselves that we would do. Because there was a lot to consider. Not only do we wanna raise a good human being, but also, my son is multicultural. Like I said, he's mixed. He's half Puerto Rican, half white, hard tea. That Midwest white hits different, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know there's white people here, but if my husband walked in, even y'all would be like, that's a white guy. Like, you'd be like, I'm white, but that's unseasoned chicken that just walked through the front door. That is level 10 white. Don't y'all come for my porcelain king. There's a couple guys in the audience that are like, porcelain king. I'm gonna use that later. But I had to think about that, man. Like, my son is mixed. Or as I like to say, his DNA's been colonized. That is my favorite way of saying it. Because people are always like, wait a minute. She snuck in history. I have to think about that, though. Honestly, as the mother of a mixed child, I have to think about the fact that a lot of his childhood is going to be me explaining my half of his makeup and the history of those people. And I know he's gonna have questions, because all kids have questions, and I'm petrified. Because I don't know if you've heard the level of questions these children are asking, but these are Jeopardy level questions. And I am, quite honestly, not prepared. I'm just waiting for the day where he's like, what happened to the indigenous people of the Caribbean, Mommy? And then I just look at his dad. This is your time to shine, sir! My poor son is walking around like, I come from the oppressor and the oppressed. I'm the problem and the solution. I'm like, that's right, baby. Also, don't take no blankets from daddy's side of the family. If you got that last part, I love you from the bottom of my heart. Because the amount of times I'd looked out at an audience of people that's like, what's wrong with their blankets? What's wrong? What's the thread count on the blankets? I'm proud of my son. He's doing great. He speaks English and Spanish. And, yeah. Humble brag. And really, look, if you're in the audience and you're Latino, Latina, Latine, Latinx, any of them, and you don't speak Spanish, that is okay. It doesn't make you lesser. It doesn't mean that people should make you feel lesser. I spent a lot of my younger years so judged because I didn't speak Spanish well enough for the people around me that I just stopped altogether and didn't learn till I was older. And here's the thing, I'm also third generation. And if you're third generation, then you know what I'm talking about. By the time I came around, everybody had assimilated already. So English was the norm in our household. When my parents were growing up, it was different. They spoke Spanish only inside the house. But that's because at that time, there was something called a gag law, where Puerto Ricans could not display a Puerto Rican flag or speak or sing any patriotic songs. So it was dangerous to speak Spanish outside of the house. So for me, I didn't speak it in the house. Only spoke English, so I learned it from all of my coworkers when I started working. And all of my coworkers were Mexican. So my Spanish is very confusing. Because I'm a Puerto Rican who speaks Spanish with a Mexican accent but uses Puerto Rican and Mexican terminology. My Spanish sounds like what a ransom note looks like. Like, people who are fluent in Spanish hear me speak Spanish and they're like, where are you from? I don't know, man, I'm trying to figure it out. My son does, he speaks Spanish, but he's nervous in Spanish, so he like whispers in Spanish. I know, it's adorable and creepy, huh? Kids do not know the rules of whispering. So they just like do it whenever. I'll be like washing the dishes and behind me I hear, siete. Mommy's gonna burn some sage now. Try to get the demon of Columbus out of you. I'll tell you what. First of all, we should start with this. I should have started here. I didn't even know I was pregnant. We should have probably started there. I mean, I knew before the delivery date. I didn't show up at the hospital like, my tummy hurts. But I didn't know for a while. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I didn't know for a while. And then people are like, how did you not know? Well, that's what happens when your weight fluctuates. Nobody talks about this. But my weight went up and I was like, oh, I'm fat again. Like, I wasn't mad about it. I was like, who's thick? You thick? Ow. Like, I was like... My thighs got bigger. I was like, I'm about to change some lives. And then I went to a doctor and he was like, nah, that's a person. Like, what's wrong with you? It's a whole baby. I was like, that's a foot? I thought that was gas. That's wild. You sure? Check again. I ate some cheese earlier. You might see a block of brie. That looks like a foot. But it was a whole baby. Freaked out, I'm not gonna lie. But as soon as I saw that first like ultrasound, I was sold. That was it, I was sold, man. And I had a great pregnancy. I had no complications, no morning sickness, and all my girlfriends who had kids were like, must be nice. I was like, it was. I can't help it if I'm God's favorite, man. Pick a God, any God, I'm a favorite across the board, man. I thought about it, but I'm also a person that has anxiety, so like, if you have anxiety, you know you're gonna spiral no matter what. And when things go good, you're just waiting for something bad to happen. Anxiety is a terrible trap that we get caught up in. Because here I was having the most beautiful pregnancy and all I kept thinking was something's gonna go wrong, something's gonna go wrong. And sure enough, I thought of something. Because you think hard enough, you're gonna create a problem. And right away I was like, oh, I know what it is. I didn't know I was pregnant for a while, and I'm a weed smoker. And I was like, maybe my baby's a little too relaxed. I panicked, immediately went to the doctor. And I was so afraid. I was so afraid to tell the doctor. I thought I was gonna get arrested. I was like, I'm about to Orange is the New Black this whole pregnancy. I was ready to get locked up. I told the doctor, I was like, hey doc, I don't know how to tell you this, but I didn't know I was pregnant for a while, and I'm a weed smoker. And he was like, me too. What are we talking about right now? He's like, you got a plug? Sir. We ran a bunch of tests. Everything was fine. Thankfully, everything was fine. Yeah, everything was fine. But that never stops the spiral. The spiral was gonna happen whether or not everything was fine. Because I was spiraling. And when you spiral, there is no rationale in it. You know, you have no ability to stop yourself from going to the craziest lengths when you spiral. And I was like, oh my God, I was going crazy. I was like, I'm gonna go to push, and the room's gonna fill with smoke. Just like a Snoop Dogg video. My son comes out like, 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was a silly one, but we all went with it. Everything was fine. I'll tell you something, man. Giving birth during the pandemic was wild. It was wild, man. They ushered us all into this, like all the pregnant women into this one room. We didn't all arrive at the same time. But they ushered us all into this one room and then separated us by curtains. And it's my first kid, so I was like, this seems legit. I'm sure those are special pandemic curtains. The first minutes of motherhood are chaos. Chaos, absolute chaos. And everybody has a different emotional reaction. Everybody has a different feeling. Immediately, I went protective. Immediately, I was looking at my son and I understood why parents would go to prison for their kids. I used to think that was crazy. I used to think that was extreme. And then looking at my son, I was like, nope. In a heartbeat. I was like, man, if the cops ever came looking for him, I would say I did it. I would. Or I would tell them I haven't seen him because I ain't no snitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna do my baby like that. Just open the door and be like, I haven't seen him in like 6 I need the accent to sound innocent, you know what I'm saying? Because like, I'm Puerto Rican, but from the Bronx, so I can't just like open the door and be like, nah, son, I ain't seen him in a hot minute. I told him it's on sight when I see him though, dead ass, bro. The cops would be like, we're gonna arrest you anyway. She talks like a rapper. I was looking at him, man. I was holding him in my arms, and I remember thinking, this baby could do no wrong, man. He could grow up, move away, forget about me, move back home, stab me. I don't care. I would be like, wipe your fingerprints off the knife. Tell them I did it to myself. Boys will be boys. That was just the first couple of minutes, man. First couple minutes. But a week of having a newborn in my house. I called my mom. And I was like, I'm sorry for everything I ever did. I was on the phone with her like, this baby's a He bit my boob the other day. No, he made eye contact. He did it on purpose. I hate it here. I want to go home. I was stressed, man. Because they don't really tell you. There's no way to really prepare for what it's going to be like. And what a unique situation to have to prepare for. Like just having a newborn during the pandemic. There was no outlet. And there was no advice they give you at the hospital. This is what they told me at the hospital. Before I left the hospital, this is what they said. This is all they said. You're going to want to rest. That's all they say. You're going to want to rest. They forgot to add, but you'll never get the chance again. Welcome to a lifetime of anxiety. Joke's on you, I already have it. What a crazy time, because there was so much tension. I think in everybody's relationship there was tension during the pandemic. Like if you fought with your partner during the pandemic, like it's not about how much you love them. That's too many hours with one person. Because we all have flaws. None of us are perfect. We shouldn't look for perfection in our partners. I think we should understand that everybody has flaws. It's not about your partner being perfect, but it's about how you handle those imperfections you have in each other, along with each other. And I think that was the biggest issue. Nobody was prepared to be around their partner 24/7. Uninterrupted. Look, my husband's biggest thing is he's a talker, which is never said as a compliment. That is a warning every time. Like, hey, he's a talker. Go with God. And people underestimate it all the time because they don't understand he's the type of talker that doesn't need anyone else for the conversation. Do you know these people? You know how many times I've been at home like, did I leave a podcast on? Like, who's bringing up random topics? And then during the pandemic, he started doing this new thing. that he'd never done before, where he just announced things he was doing around the house. I'd be in the living room and I'd hear, "Babe, I made space for the ketchup in the refrigerator." And I'd be like, "Good job, man." Because my therapist said be more encouraging, you know what I mean? So I was like, "Who's killing it in the kitchen?" I didn't grow up with positive reinforcement, so I don't know how to be encouraging without sounding like I'm talking to a pet, like, "Who's a good husband? Who's a good husband?" Off the couch, "Who's a good husband?" Of course we fought, of course we bumped heads, of course we got on each other's nerves. Like, I'm definitely the kind of person, like, he has to put up with my flaws too. And I'm definitely the kind of person that, I think the hardest thing he has to put up with is the fact that my mood depends on your tone. You don't have to tell me. I know it's toxic. I'm aware. I'm working on it. It's not fun, you know what I mean? To be the kind of person that's always like, "What'd you say?" And at this point, we've established that when a woman says, "What'd you say?" she's not asking you to repeat what you said. She is asking you to rethink what you said. It's not fun to have somebody walking on eggshells like that, you know what I mean? Like, "What'd you say?" "Good morning." Please say I did it right. We were bound to bump heads, man, but we're also both in therapy. And I don't know if you've ever fought with a healthy person, but it's annoying. Because we'd get into these big blow-up fights, right? Where we would just yell at each other, and then I'd storm out, right? And I'd have time to process. And I'd come back in and I'd be like, "Ugh. I realize my reaction to the previous situation is based on trauma from a former relationship that I shouldn't bring into this current space. Don't get too excited, baby girl." And then my husband would come in and he'd be like, "Ugh. I want you to know that I hear you and I see you." I was like, "I hate us. I don't want to be us, I want to jump us. I don't like us. I come from a family where you flip a table to make a point, you know what I'm saying? Like, this feels too healthy, you know what I'm saying?" And I got a temper on me. I'm not proud of it, but it's something I know about myself, right? Like, I got one of those tempers where I'll get real mad, real bad, real fast. Yeah. And then 5 seconds later, I'm like, "We're cool." They'll be like, "Gina, you burned down the house." "Okay, but I'm a new woman now." "Yes, I burned down the house, but I also called the fire department." And in therapy, they call that growth. So, how about you respect my journey? It ain't easy. I remember our biggest fight was also, coincidentally, our dumbest fight. Yeah. It was over socks. Yeah, we had the sock fight. Mm-hmm. He kept leaving his socks everywhere. And in my head, I was like, "I know that you know that we have a laundry basket. What is with all this passive-aggressive sock behavior?" I'm in therapy, so I could therapize. And therapy did help me figure out how I could have stopped this fight from happening in the first place. Because I did something so typical in relationships, such a typical thing, because what I did was I didn't speak up right away. I let it build, I let it fester. Such a common thing. And I'll tell you why that happens. I can only speak to my relationships with men, but I'll tell you why that happens, guys. The reason why we don't speak up right away is because we have such faith You already know. We have such faith in your ability to tell when we are upset. We truly believe you're gonna get all of our little subtle hints. Because that's what we do. That's what we do. Every woman in here can tell you when her partner is upset. Every woman in here. We always know. We always know, man. I know. I can tell by the way he breathes. So we always think he's gonna know. He's gonna know. Nope. Nope. And here's the thing. There's a reason why this happens. There's a reason why this happens, and it's not based on intelligence. It's about how we think and navigate through the world. The fact is, as a woman, I have to think 10 steps ahead for my own safety. I can't just walk out the door. I have to figure out where am I going, what time is it, how am I getting back, who am I going with, is it even safe for me to go there in the first place? These are the things we have to think about when we're navigating the world. Men don't have to think that far ahead. You don't have to think in the future. You can think in the now, what's happening now, what's in front of me now. If at any point I'm mad at my husband, yeah. If at any point I am angry at my husband and I were to go into his brain, I feel like it would just be like doo dee dee da da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da. This is a great day, man. Da 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 da. She looks weird. Da da ba da ba da ba ba. I wonder who made her mad, man. I wasn't even here. Yeah da 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 yeah da da da. No clue. He had no idea we were even in a fight. Have you ever had somebody sleep comfortably next to you? When you are fuming mad at them? Whew. That's a tough one. Because he was like, And I was just up like, I've made you too comfortable. I let it fester, I let it build, and then one day I woke up and I was like, today's the day. You know when you feel the rage rising in your body before your feet touch the floor? I was like, somebody gonna get this rage. And I remember, I woke up, I was putting my son in his playpen. It was like 6 a.m. And I saw the Nike check from the corner of my eye. And if you've ever dealt with any kind of anger issues, then you know that at this point, I had to give myself a little pep talk. I was like, don't do nothing crazy. Don't do nothing crazy. I had to become my own therapist, man. I was like, come on, you're journaling. You're meditating. You watch that one Brene Brown video. You can do this. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna take that sock and I'm gonna cut it up into tiny little pieces. And I'm gonna do that for every sock I find until he has no socks. And then one day he will wake up and he will go, where are my socks? And I will press a button and all of the sockfetti will fall from the ceiling. And I will go, ta-da! And then I will stab him because I will have snapped. All you hear in the background is my son going, wipe your fingerprints off the knife, Mommy! I joke around about my husband, but I love that man. I love being married. I do. I love that man. That's my homie. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's my homie. I love him. We make 6 years this year coming up, this September. He's a good dude, man. He cute too. Ow. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. He's got that beard. He looks all lumber sexual, man. You know what I'm talking about? Like, he looks like the type of dude that would, like, kick down your door and go chop down a tree. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, he'd kick down your door and then sit and talk to you for 6 hours about trees. You'd be like, this fantasy took a weird turn. But I'm still gonna do it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm down for the cause. I learned a lot through our relationship. Sometimes I think back to when I first met him, and like, I grew up, I don't know if this is the cupcake. I don't know if this is the proper... Almost forgot to say that first. I don't know if this is the proper term, but I grew up a tomboy, and like, so I was never comfortable in what I guess was perceived as femininity. Like I was always emulating what I thought was feminine because I didn't know what it was for me as an individual, which I think is important as a woman to know and to learn. And for that reason, everything I did, I copied off of a magazine or of a movie or of something, right? And even up until when I met my husband, I was still very uncomfortable and unsure of who I was in my own femininity. And so I remember we were going away for the weekend for the first time, and I was like, oh my God, I have to be sexy. And I was plotting. I was like, what am I gonna do to be sexy? And I had seen this movie where this woman crawled across a bed. And I was like, I'm gonna do that. Because that must be sexy. Because like the guy in the movie was all about it. So I was like, that must be what guys think is a sexy thing to do. So I was like, I'm gonna crawl across the bed. So it's our first night, and he gets into his side of the bed, and I get to crawling. It was a king-size bed. There was room for a show, you know what I'm saying? Like, I put my all into that crawl. I was like... He was so confused. He was like, does your back hurt? Why are you crawling? What's going on with you? You need me to call somebody? I was mortified. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. And now I can't because we have a memory foam mattress. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't. You ever try to get sexy on one of those, man? I tried. My knee almost went all the way through. I was like, ah! The bed has me now! Avenge me! Y'all have been one of the best crowds in my life. Thank you for being a part of this epic night. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, so I always like to leave people with a little message. Before I go, I feel like I have such a great platform to share stories with people, and I always want to leave y'all with a little bit. I'm gonna try to make it through this without crying off my makeup. I know, this feels like church. Dígalo! Dígalo! So, it's so funny because I normally have like the perfect story prepared for like the end of the show. And this time around, for a long time, I didn't have anything. And I was like, what am I gonna leave the people with? And I realized that I didn't have anything because I was getting to know this new me. And I think change is something that is inevitable. It's a part of life. It's not gonna stop happening. And as human beings, we grow and change because we have to. And nothing changed me more than motherhood. And it helped me see humanity differently. And most importantly, and I want to really talk to the women here, but I also want the men to listen in on this, because I think it's really important that we understand each other's walk through life. And I think we'd have a lot less strife with each other if we stopped being so defensive and on the attack and actually listened to what it was like to be on the other side. I think that a lot of times the narrative with women is that we always talk about how downtrodden we are. And like sometimes a lot of society will play into this idea that all we do is complain about being women. But you know what I noticed after becoming a mom? It's not that we're complaining about being women. It's about nobody listening to us. Because kids don't nag you. They wait till you hear them. And then they stop. And I think you cannot look at the history of the world and not see the plight of women. Because if you try that, you're lying to yourself. It is women and our fight that has shaped a lot of this world. And we exist within a world that tells us we are not worthy, we are not good enough. Ooh. We get labeled as a problem for speaking up, even when we're speaking up in defense of ourselves. And I think there's some important points about women that everybody needs to accept. Like when you see a strong woman, know that she is strong because she has had to be strong. When you see an intelligent woman, don't be upset, offended, or intimidated by it. Know that she has had to have that intelligence in order to survive a world that comes at her. The world will tell us that we will age out of our beauty. The world will tell us that we will age out of our passions and that we will age out of relevancy. None of it's true. This is the hardest part. Before we got to this point, oh, damn it. Whew. Before we got to this point, I thought it was over for me. Oof. Oh, thank you. Sana, sana. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not gonna put it on y'all. I'm not gonna put it on the amazing support system that I've had that kept telling me that it wasn't. It wasn't until I believed that it wasn't over that this came together. And I'll tell you something else before I get out of here, whether you are, if you woman or not woman, when you identify as a woman, and let me tell you something, if you identify as a woman, don't let anybody tell you you are any lesser, because if you chose to walk this walk, you're braver than a lot of people. Don't ever count yourself out, no matter what the world tells you. You hold the key. Don't forget that. Good night, everybody.
Tell them to mind their business. Tell them I'm all in my bag. Tell them how I keep winning. Tell them I see the tags. Tell them to kiss my kiss it.
Tell them.
I gotta tell them.
I gotta tell them about themselves. I gotta tell them.
I gotta tell them.
I gotta tell them about themselves. I gotta tell them.
Yeah.
Who gonna tell them? I gotta tell them.
Business.
Mind your business.